8 SEC on SEC games this week. We have a loaded slate, some danger spots this Saturday. It is time to get the squad together.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skins are prohibited. Squad up, you're part of the SEC squad.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome into the SEC squad. Sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we get you ready for another week talking all things SEC. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Let's welcome in our squad this week. We've got Stephen Willis, host of Locked On Ole Miss, John Neighbors, Locked On Razorbacks, Jimmy Stein, Locked On Bama, Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy. I'm Chris Gordy, host of Locked On SEC. I think we'll have a few other squad members join us throughout the show, but let's dive into it, gents. As we do every week this time of the show, we start with give us a prediction for your team this week. Doesn't have to be a score prediction, but something that might happen in your game. Stephen, we'll start with you. You got a big one this week.
Yeah, Trinidad Chambliss is going to make his first road start. He will not be intimidated by the crowd at Sanford Stadium, and he'll have a good game. Now, I don't know if that'll be enough, but I think he's going to perform pretty well.
Real quick, what's the latest on Austin Simmons? Is he getting healthy? And what do they do there?
Austin Simmons has been healthy for 3 weeks. Yeah, it's just one of those things. They're playing games. They're playing absolute games.
Oh.
Wally Pipp.
You ride the hot hand of Trinidad Chambliss. John Neighbors, Bobby Petrino coming home as the home head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Give me your prediction for this week.
Well, Arkansas with Bobby Petrino as head coach was 3-0 against Texas A&M when they played each other in Arlington. And since that point in time, from 2009 to 2011, Arkansas has beaten A&M one time. And so, I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think it'll be fascinating. I don't like the matchup itself, but Arkansas also loves playing terrible at home. So don't like their chances, but hopefully they just know how to hold on to the ball and figure that out.
Yeah, if you could give me a prediction that that Arkansas forces at least 2 punts, I'll maybe feel good about Arkansas. But if they don't force any punts, I don't think they have a chance. We'll get into that one a little bit later. Jimmy Stein, give me a prediction for Alabama.
I think Alabama this weekend scores the most points they've scored in an SEC game so far this year, but also give up the most points they've given up in an SEC game this year. Kind of a bit of a track meet in Tuscaloosa Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be shocked by that if that happened. A score fest breaks out in Tuscaloosa. How about Corey Burton? Give me a prediction for the Vandy Commodores.
I think it's going to be a relatively low-scoring slugfest at the 11 a.m. kick on ABC. LSU's having trouble. They put up a ton of yards, but they're having trouble putting it across the goal line. And Vanderbilt's going to play ball control a little bit, and I think that method is going to favor the Commodores.
Big game for both those teams. Jay Smith jumping in with us from Locked On Sooners. You guys have a big one coming up this weekend at South Carolina.
Another one.
Give me a prediction for Oklahoma.
Yeah, we got another big one coming up this weekend. It feels like we're going to actually have 4 straight big ones, so let's just, keep it real there. But, no, I do think that the Sooners get back on track a la the Michigan game in this one. South Carolina's been struggling on the offensive side like a lot over the last few games, and so I think we could take advantage of it. So I kind of expect us to probably – I could see us offensively doing real good and having our defense really give South Carolina problems.
Yeah, I feel the need to just point out that somebody pointed this out on Monday, and I've been echoing it all week long, that the teams that currently ranked 1, 2, and 3 in the polls, Miami, Ohio State, and Indiana, their remaining schedules currently include no ranked teams. How do you feel about that, Jay, knowing what Oklahoma's got the rest of the way?
Look, we got and shockingly, because South Carolina's not even ranked now. They were going into this at the beginning of the season. This was actually a part of that gauntlet. But shoot, every game we play for the rest of the season is against a ranked team. It's just so disrespectful. So disrespectful.
Yeah. So
Welcome to the SEC, I guess, right?
well,
Exactly, right?
The outsiders go, well, yeah, if you rank all the SEC teams, of course, when they play each other, it's ranked on ranked. They're ranked for a reason, dummies. They're not just we're not just putting them up there because we just want to prop up the SEC. And by the way, this was the case before ESPN and ABC had all the TV rights. People keep saying, "Oh, it's because they have the TV rights." No, this was the case before this.
20 years,
yeah,
at least.
Let's jump into it, gents. Let's start because we got 8 games to take a look at. Let's start with the big one, 2:30 Central on ABC. Number 5 Ole Miss at number 9 Georgia. College game day will be there. Of course, Ole Miss won this game a year ago. Steven, what's the key to victory for Ole Miss?
Stopping the Georgia run game. Georgia, ever since Vince Dooley, have been running back dominant. If you can make them one-dimensional and force Gunnar Stockton to beat you throwing the football, maybe he does it, but that's the path of easiest resistance, because if Georgia is able to run the ball and Bobo is able to get the play action pass going, this wide receiver group for the Georgia Bulldogs is much better than a year ago. It's going to be imperative that Ole Miss stops the running game.
Anybody else got a feel on this one, Ole Miss at Georgia?
Well, Georgia's defense has to figure things out a lot sooner than they did against Auburn, or Ole Miss is going to run them out of the building. I mean, it was the first half up until the punch out on the goal line was absolutely atrocious for Georgia's defense, and they can't do that, or Ole Miss is going to 50-piece them.
Yeah, to me, the Washington State game was not a true indication of who Ole Miss actually is. That was the perfect example of an overlook. That was a perfect example of a trap game. I tried to tell, I mentioned that to some folks before. I was like, hey, man, Washington State's going to give Ole Miss problems only because Ole Miss has Georgia the next week. And that's exactly what it looked like. It just looked like they just was discombobulated for a game that they shouldn't have been. And rightfully so. Georgia is going to be a tough challenge, but Georgia isn't the Georgia of years past. You can see there's some cracks there. There's some spots you can take advantage. And I think Ole Miss, if they are willing to just air it out nonstop, just like in the Tennessee game, they have a good chance of being spoiler out there.
If I flip it, oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
I think Ole Miss through the first half of the season has looked like a better football team than Georgia for much of the first half of the season, but it's also very difficult to imagine or wrap my head around that Georgia could have 2 home losses already.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the other, if I were to flip this, I would say Ole Miss, I think strength of schedule is somewhere like 86 or 68, something like that so far. Georgia's is top 10. This is the first true real test for Trinidad Chambliss outside of the confines of Oxford. Maybe the clock strikes midnight on Cinderella because Georgia held Auburn to 50 yards of offense in the second half. Maybe the Georgia defense goes, we found ourselves. This is who we are. And, maybe Trinidad looks more like the Ferris State quarterback. Look, maybe not. If Ole Miss wins this one, I think they're going 11-1. I mean, I think that's a lock. They're going to Atlanta if they win this one, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so too. But the thing about the Ole Miss side of things is, like, I just see how many one possession games that they've won this year, which is great because, I mean, you win, and that's what shows you how good of a team you are. It just makes me wonder, it's like at some point in time, is that going to be one case or the other? Does that show just how good this team is and how experienced they are and how much they are just built for this? Or is it more of, hey, you've been playing with fire a little bit and it's going to come back and get you at some point in time? To me, it's fascinating because, again, I don't think Georgia's, like has been said, as good as what they were previously. But I also feel like Ole Miss, you got to go all in on this one, because I agree. If you win this game and you're Ole Miss, you not only will be going to Atlanta, you better be going to Atlanta, because there'll be zero excuse for you not getting to Atlanta for the first time, not getting into the playoff. And Lane Kiffin, he'll never get it done. If they beat Georgia and they still don't get into the playoff, they'll never get it done under Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, and the one-score games that everybody likes to point out, just like John just did, all of those games almost was ahead by 2 scores late in the fourth quarter, and it was like a touchdown that made it a one-score game. It wasn't like a year ago where it was a true one-score game. I do agree that if you keep playing with fire, eventually you're going to get burned. But they've looked increasingly good, except for that Washington State game, which – listen, the rumor is that Lane Kiffin was practicing for Georgia and the Ole Miss Rebels during the bye week. And he said we did it for 2 days, and I view it kind of like military technology, where what you hear is only about 20% of what is there. So if he admitted to 2 days, he probably did it closer to 5 or 6.
Well, just tell them do not say get your popcorn ready, because that thing could get really ugly really fast.
That was one of my keys. Whenever I gave the keys this weekend, is like, Lane Kiffin, stop it. Just coach the game like you did against the Georgia Bulldogs a year ago. Take the points. Be extremely boring. Don't go crazy. There's several things that could get Ole Miss in trouble in this game. One is Trinidad Chambliss playing, and he kind of like the crowd gets to him, because this will be the biggest crowd that he's ever played in front of. So if that happens, that's a problem. An early turnover, short fields, Georgia. There's several different ways for Georgia to win this game, because, other than Alabama, they don't lose in Athens, basically. It goes back to the South Carolina game in 2019.
John,
Go ahead. We'll see how it goes. I feel, let's just say, cautiously optimistic about this game.
Real quick, raise your hand if you think Ole Miss gets it done in Athens. Okay, only Steven. All the rest of us are going to stick with Georgia at home. All right.
I like others, can't fathom Georgia losing at home twice. It just doesn't sound right. Until I see it happen, it's hard to believe it happened. It's one of those things. Yeah. Nothing against even Ole Miss. It's just I need to witness it in real life, and then I can say, "Oh, okay, well, it is possible."
Schumann and Bobo better get going in the first half. That's all I got to say.
Somebody said SEC teams, only one SEC team loses at home each week by average. Texas plays in Kentucky. So there we go. There's the average.
Yeah, fair point.
Yep.
Coming up next, guys, we will touch on two of the other big games happening this weekend, starting with LSU at Vandy. More squad show coming your way next. Back to the squad show in just a second, but when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with SupplyHouse. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting on projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. If you need parts fast for a project you're getting started on, SupplyHouse, they got next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. And you can join their free Trademaster program today and start scoring some serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, even a dedicated support line to give you that attention that you may need. Visit supplyhouse.com and you can sign up for free and use our promo code SHCollege5. That's going to get you 5% off your first order. That's over at supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. This episode also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. And, of course, NFL season, we're in the thick of it. College football as well. And FanDuel still got that offer that you do not want to miss. If you have not signed up yet, take advantage of it. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, you put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Very cool stuff there. Of course, FanDuel giving you plenty of different ways to get in on the action, from parlays to player props, even the live lines during games going on at that minute. You can make it happen. Makes watching football even more exciting when you got a little something extra riding on the action. So whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel, they're going to make your game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Get started today at FanDuel.com. It's going to let you download the app, and you can get started today for free and take advantage of that great offer over at FanDuel.com. SEC Squad Show rolling along here, and guys, it is going to be number 10 LSU at number 17 Vanderbilt. Both teams 5-1. A big game for both sides, Corey, because LSU, they came into the season fancying themselves a playoff team, so that means they need to win this one. For Vandy, internally they probably had playoff hopes, but I think other other people on the outside would just go, look, if Vandy goes 8-4, that's a great year. So maybe means a little bit more to LSU, but this is home for Vanderbilt. This is one that they believe, and they want to get the bad taste out of their mouths from that Alabama loss.
Yeah, Chris, don't get it twisted. Internally, they got playoffs on their mind, right, wrong, or indifferent. That like Diego Pavia keeps reiterating that fact. Hey, everything's still out in front of us. So the importance of this game is just as significant for Vandy as it is LSU. Now, for LSU, what I've noticed in doing some stat dives, and I actually watched a little bit of that South Carolina game, is they racked up a ton of yards, but they can't put it across the goal line. It's weird because they can't. They turn the ball over twice in the red zone, once going into the end zone, once inside the 10. Penalties, things like that. Their offensive line, Chris, is something that they had to replace 5 starters coming into the season, and it just hasn't gelled like you think it would. So I think the matchup here is Vandy's defensive line versus that patchwork offensive line for LSU. Can they stop the run, which LSU is in the bottom 2 in rushing in the conference, and can they force Garrett Nussmeier to beat them all by himself? And right now he's still recovering from a multitude of injuries, ankles, knees, obliques, whatever, you name it. He's got it wrong with him. And is he 100% still? Brian Kelly says he is, but again, it's coach speak, wants to make everybody feel good. Vandy's going to have to test that coming in. And then offensively, they're going to have to control the ball as always. That's just their identity. If they can stay to that and play a lot like they did in the first half or in the first quarter against Alabama, where they dominated the line of scrimmage and they rushed for 113 yards and pretty much had control of the game very, very briefly against Alabama. If they can do that and stretch it out, they have a chance here.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny, like if you had a Gray's Sports Almanac and you went back to like 2021 and you're like, hey, Indiana and Vanderbilt are going to be having conversations about the playoffs in 2025. You would be institutionalized.
Well, that's what somebody said. Imagine going back to 2019 and telling an LSU fan during that whole Burrow season, hey, 6 years from now, you're going to play at Vanderbilt and be an underdog. You would have been, what happened?
Yeah, it's
the
like,
program must have died.
This is the first time in 51 conference games that Vanderbilt is actually a favorite.
Yeah,
Wow.
Vegas knows something. Look, to me, LSU is the ultimate. If they ever put it all together, they could be the best team in the country. The problem is they just haven't put it all together. You know, when you get to this point in the season and you go, yeah, they just keep turning the ball over in the red zone, all this. Eventually, that's who you are. That's who this team is. So, but again, if they do go out there and have that clean game where Nussmeier doesn't turn the ball over and the defense plays lights out, LSU can beat anybody. But that's where I say, like, 8-4. If Vandy finishes 8-4 this year, they're going to throw a parade. If LSU finishes 8-4, they're going to be talking buyout with Brian Kelly. That's where the expectations are going into this game. Does anybody else feel strongly about this one either way?
I think this has a potential to be the Ole Miss Arkansas game for 2024. I think this has a chance to be an extremely get-right game for LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's opportunity for that as well. But I do think that Vanderbilt actually prevails and wins this game. I think Diego Pavia actually puts the team on his back and stops turning over the ball for a change and winning it. I mean, to me, the ineptness I've seen in LSU's offense is just baffling. I mean, you get 5 interceptions against Florida and you only score 1 touchdown, and then you get a pick 6 to add a second touchdown. That, to me, just tells me that there's something going on with that offense that they just can't get going. The running game hasn't been very productive for them. I mean, Caden Durham hasn't been doing as much as I thought he would be. It's not – they're struggling, and it feels like –
he missed the Ole Miss game. You need to, put that in there. But yeah, and
that's fair. I mean, in the games he's played, it's just like last year he kind of came out of nowhere. You're like, oh man, they've got him such a good freshman running back. He's going to do some stuff, and not so much. So it kind of feels like the offense is protesting against Brian Kelly to get them fired. They're very much more inept than I would have ever thought that they would be.
Just speaking for myself, about 1 week ago, I really thought Vanderbilt was going to win this game. When I changed my mind is when I saw that LSU was the underdog. When the official line came out Sunday or Monday, whenever it was, like LSU is an underdog in this game. I'm like, I'm flipping. I think LSU wins.
Well, the LSU defense too. I mean, they held Lenore Sellers to what? I think it was 22 rushes for 19 yards. I mean, if they did that to Sellers, Trinidad Chambliss got a couple good runs on him, but I think they learned from that. And if they do what they did to Sellers, Pavia, has nowhere to run. It could look a lot more like that game at the end of last season in Baton Rouge, where Pavia scored early and then it was tough rowing the rest of the game. So
that's the best defense in the SEC. I mean, to me, it's not even close. And I realized that Ole Miss was able to get over on them a couple of times, but like at the cornerback position, they're so long and athletic all over the field. And Vandy is good. What they do very well. But the problem is you don't have the size speed ratio to where if things start going good for LSU, there's not going to be anything that Vandy can do, if that makes sense.
To stop them. Yeah.
Steven said LSU the best defense. Watch those Georgia and Bama defenses the next few weeks. I think they're going to have something to say about best defense in the SEC. Real quick, guys, this segment, let's jump over to Texas A&M, number 4. Texas A&M. That just doesn't feel right to say. The Aggies, but they've proven it so far. They're going into Fayetteville to play Arkansas. John Neighbors, Bobby Petrino, back as your head coach in Fayetteville. Got to think he's going to get a standing ovation at the start of this one.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, listen, it was about like last week when we talked about it with Arkansas and Tennessee. It was a matter of like no one knew what the team was going to look like. Last time we saw them was against Notre Dame, where they just completely gave up. And it was like, okay, so are they going to continue to fight? Are they going to continue to play? Are they going to care? Or, what's the situation? And I think even though it was a loss against Tennessee, I think it was very obvious that the team was playing a lot harder than they did in the previous week under the Sam Pittman era. And so I think people are hopeful for that and hopeful that they can build upon that. A&M's really good. Again, I don't like the matchup of it. I know the Moss situation there with A&M is pretty fascinating because last time they had to go without him for a while, it didn't go well for their offense. But this is the first time also Arkansas has played A&M in Fayetteville since 2013 and Johnny Manziel. So there'll be a lot going on there. It's Darren McFadden. They're honoring him. They're getting him his jersey and everything up in the rafters, which will be great. Looks like there's going to be a tornado that's going to hit. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a classic Razorback event, sounds like.
I think SEC road games are where undefeated records go to die. So I'm not going to be shocked if Arkansas pulls this off.
Well, look, the Cam Newton jersey retirement didn't go well. Let's hope the Darren McFadden jersey retirement goes well. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like A&M has left Kyle Field once this year, and that was at Notre Dame, and it took a miracle and a prayer for them to pull that one out. Give them credit. They found a way to win, but I just keep looking at it. Like, that's why I say, like, if Arkansas's defense wasn't so putrid, if they could just get a few stops, I'd love them in the upset. I just don't know if they could slow down Marcel Reed.
Well, see, and that's the problem is that it's like if they just didn't fumble the ball, Sam Pittman would still be the head coach. Like, it's just simple things like that. And that's what's kind of been the MO for Arkansas is just they do the little things that make them lose these games. And it's extremely frustrating to watch. And so that's where it's like I feel like Arkansas will be competitive. I think they should be competitive. But it's like I'm looking at these spreads and whatnot, and I see that Arkansas is as big of an underdog against A&M as Ole Miss is against Georgia. And I'm like, what? How does that make sense at all? But it's the truth. It's going to be a game that I think will be hard fought. I think Petrino's going to have a game plan, and as long as you keep Taylor Green upright. But if you keep fumbling the ball, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose, and A&M's a good enough team to beat you.
Real quick, guys, show of hands. Who likes Arkansas to upset A&M? Raise your hand.
Yeah, I'll go.
Oh,
Okay, all right. We got 2 in there. We got 2.
Idiots.
They helped me win a
We got
parlay.
3.
Surrounded by morons. I'm telling you.
Hey, real quick for rewind, Vandy at LSU. Who thinks Vandy beats LSU? Raise your hand.
I mean, probably just me. But
I know.
Okay, so 4 of
I'm
you.
kind of on the Vandy train.
Whoa.
I just want it to happen so I can laugh.
Come on, Corey. Come on, Corey. You know I've been on the
more
Vandy train
indictment
this
on
whole time.
LSU
Oh,
at
yeah.
this point.
I know you have been. That's and I appreciate that.
I'm
We
a
welcome
closet Vandy fan.
We welcome in our buddy Eric Kane, the Locked On Vols. When we return, guys, some more big, massive matchups this week, including the 3rd Saturday in October. We'll discuss that coming up next. More Squad Show in just a second, but first, Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes, they sweat all the details. Mazda, they bring that same intention to how they craft every model. And you can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to the available Nappa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but. From smooth handling to intuitive controls, and with the all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence throughout almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. If you're looking for a new vehicle, recommend our friends at Mazda. Check them out today. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, guys, 6:30 Central on ABC. It is number 11 Tennessee at number 6 Alabama. Tennessee has won 2 of the last 3. It just feels weird saying that because they lost, like 16 in a row. But
15, get it right, 15.
Whatever it was. Eric, Jimmy, help us out here. What are you feeling on this one?
Go ahead, Eric.
I mean, John can attest. Arkansas just played Tennessee. It's an explosive offense. It's a fun offense to watch. Got a really good quarterback. Defensively, man, you can sack the quarterback for days. You can take the football away, but anything else, just garbage right now, to be honest with you. I mean, Tennessee run fits are awful. They can't defend the pass. It's the definition right now of boom or bust because, again, you are leading the nation in sacks, and you are top 10 in TFLs, and you're number 2 in defensive touchdowns. And you're like top 10, I want to say, in takeaways. Yet you can't defend the pass and you can't defend the run right now. They're getting healthier, but man, it's so frustrating. So I mean, I thought the Tennessee-Arkansas game went about like I thought it was going to be. I thought Tennessee would pull away in the end. It had a 17-point lead in the second half, and should have known Tennessee was going to let it come back and is going to 3-point deficit. So I say all that to say I think Tennessee will go on the road. It's a place Tennessee has not won since 2003. I think Tennessee's going to score a lot of points, just because I don't think that. The offense is going to slow down. I think Tennessee will be opportunistic defensively. I think Tennessee will sack Ty Simpson a little bit, but Ty Simpson is playing really, really well, and that passing game's humming. I think there's a lot of opportunity here. Tennessee could certainly win this game. I don't trust the defense. I just don't. I think it's going to do a lot of good things, but it's going to do a lot of bad things. And if you can't trust the defense like that on the road, it's going to be hard to pull off an upset, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing about Tennessee's defense is obviously they do give up a lot of points, and it's easy to imagine Ty Simpson having a big game here. But Tennessee also gets after the quarterback, and Alabama's had issues protecting Ty Simpson at times, even against Missouri last week, giving up 4 sacks. If Tennessee is able to consistently affect Ty Simpson, then maybe Alabama doesn't have the big scoring night that many think. But I tend to agree with Eric. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I think it'll be a bit of a track meet, not like Georgia, Tennessee. I think Tennessee's going to be able to affect Ty, and that's going to affect Alabama's point production. Also think Alabama's just a little bit better on defense, and maybe even Georgia is right now. I think there'll be a lot of points, but not like Georgia. It won't be 44-41, but maybe both teams in the 30s isn't going to surprise me at all.
Something concerning about Tennessee's defense again. They do such a great job because of the sacks and early downs. They do such a great job of getting offenses in 3rd and long. Against Power 4 opponents, I looked up the stat the other day. Against Power 4 opponents on 3rd and 4th down, Tennessee is giving up 37% of those chances. They're better in 3rd and short, man. It's incredible right now. So get off the field. And Ty Simpson's playing is arguably better than anybody right now in terms of the quarterback position. So it's going to be interesting. I do have a question for you, Jimmy. I haven't watched every single Alabama game. Obviously, watched them play Vanderbilt. Watched a little bit of the game last week against Missouri. A lot of scrimmage is a bit puzzling. You mentioned the offensive line. They've given up 13 sacks. Only 9 sacks defensively as well. I think Tennessee might have the advantage on paper, at least in the line of scrimmage. But that was a little perplexing to see only 9 sacks defensively for that defense.
Yeah, rushing the quarterback has been an issue. The secondary is very good. However, that's how Alabama makes up for maybe the lack of a pass rush. The secondary is outstanding, but you can't expect that they're going to cover. Tennessee's top 3 receivers are really as good as anybody's in the league. They're not going to be able to cover those guys, forever back there. So you are going to have to get to the quarterback. Alabama's lost 2 or 3 guys from their front 7. For season-ending injuries. I think that's affected the pass rush to some degree. But no doubt, Eric, it is an issue in terms of protecting the quarterback and rushing the passer. Alabama doesn't excel at either. They just make up for it in other areas.
Real quick, guys, because we got a few more games we want to touch on. Raise your hand if you're going to go with Bama at home. We got 1, 2. Oh, no.
Oh, no, I'm going to. Sorry.
Everybody's going Bama?
Whoa.
Oh, Jimmy.
Kiss of death. You know what happens?
Mine's always asked me later in the week. I might change my mind, but I mean, again, right now, Tennessee can certainly win this game. I do not trust the defense, and mean, it's hard to argue that right now.
It feels like Bama too, having to get up every week for these ranked teams that eventually one of them they're going to fall flat.
Not many SEC teams have ever beaten 4 ranked SEC opponents in a row without a bye week somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It would be an historic win for Alabama in that sense.
Well, they're going to go and get it.
Give DeBoer credit too, the balls to go for it on the 4th downs, and I mean he's pulling all the right
Black hoodie, baby.
right now. Yeah, it's working. Jay Smith, number 14, Oklahoma is at South Carolina. Give us a quick thought on that one.
Oklahoma was embarrassing on the offensive side of the ball. He looked like the 2024 team. I mentioned that on the reaction show. John Mateer, he said that it was all on him. His eyes were in the wrong spots, and I think that he has an opportunity to bounce back, and I think he will. This will be his first true road test, even though the Texas game is a neutral site. It's really weird with the 50-50 split as far as the fans, but it's also very awesome. William Bryce ain't no punk. The good thing is at 11:45 in the morning. So I think that that's kind of like a beneficial thing for us is we're not playing there at night. If we were playing at night, I'd be extremely concerned. But South Carolina has struggled like a lot more than I even thought they would. Like I thought they'd be good. I had questions about their wide receiver room. I had questions about who was going to be the running back. And then when Faison got approved to play, I was like, all right, I think they may figure it out. He ain't figured it out either. It's been bad. They fired their offensive line coach this week before the game. Whoo, buddy. Usually when you start firing position coaches in the season, you might be the head coach, be on that hot seat very, very, very soon too. So, and their defense is just not as stout as I was thinking it was going to be. The defensive line, I mean, Dylan Stewart is it, but at the same time, who else has really stepped up for them, right? They ain't got those NFL guys anymore. So they're looking pedestrian right now. Now, could they figure it out? Sure. Could this be the game they figure it out? There's always a possibility. But I do think that our defense is going to give Lenore Sellers way too many problems. This time around, they're going to actually try to figure out how to wrap up and tackle people for a change instead of letting people go. And if we can hold them to only one score on the offensive side like we did Texas, in which they got that kick return that gave it the 2-score piece, if we can keep them to just one offensive score and no special teams, I think we can win this game probably like 20-10. It's going to be a low-scoring game again, which I'm really getting tired of. But at the same time, 'tis his life.
What did you think of your coach saying this week? This isn't the old Big 12 days where Oklahoma destroys everybody every single week except one game of the year. Talking about how tough it is to play in the SEC, being a one-possession league. Look, he pissed off the Big 12. They responded.
Oh, yeah, their feelings were hurt. They said that he lost 8 conference games. This is his first time as head coach. Sure, I mean, totally true. He also won 7 Big 12 championships as a defensive coordinator. So let's not pretend like he didn't know what it was like playing in the Big 12. He was beating the dog out of those teams, too. And then someone posted a graphic. Yeah. Somebody posted a graphic showing Oklahoma's 14 conference championships with everybody else having a total of 18 combined. So that tells you that they're not going to catch up to Oklahoma's number. But I digress. He's right. Go look at the scores. I mean, we just got through talking about it. Even though some of them are backdoor covers on that, a lot of the SEC games have been one-score games. And it's been, even those backdoor covers have been situations where if a team, can sustain their drive, they could have tied it or they could have made it closer. So that's the thing about this conference, man. Everybody grinds it out. The defenses, you can tell, are NFL caliber coordinators. They are forcing teams to conform to the way they want them to play, and it's a grind out, especially this year. So he's not wrong. That's the one thing that we're pointing out. I mean, the Big 12 didn't know what defense was until actually they still don't know what defense is. So it's a team. It's a conference where just the offenses just fly. So
Tennessee has
but the
played
SEC's
3
always been
conference
opposite.
games. Sorry to cut you off. Tennessee's played 3 conference games. All 3 have been one-score outcomes. I mean, it's insane.
There you go. That's my point.
Again, you guys know my thoughts on the defense right now, but like that's still pretty wild just to think about it.
I think Brian Kelly pointed out that last year the average margin of victory in SEC games was, I think, 17 points, and he said this year so far it's 10.
Yeah,
so it just showed
Yeah, Vanderbilt was they had 8 one-score games last year. I mean, they were just as close to 2-10 as they were 10-2. I mean, it's pretty wild.
So I think I saw somewhere on Twitter that it's closer than the NFL. By the way, the margin of victory.
To that point, please, someone tell me where Brent Venables was wrong about the toughness of this conference. No one can.
People just hate that. They hate the SEC because they've dominated for so long and all the championships and all the most draft picks and all this. That anytime they get, Anytime they can get a shot in, they get a shot in. All right, real quick, guys. A few other games.
Skin. It's prohibited around here.
A few other games just to get a quick thought on. Mississippi State at Florida. Anybody got a feel on this one? Because there are rumblings this could be Billy Napier's swan song.
If he loses, like there's
loses.
literally no choice. Like if he loses, got to be it. And if you're a Florida fan, if you win, it's like, God, here we go again. Like just prolonging the inevitable. I
Lose
think
a
that's
game so we can get fired. That's literally what they're saying. Just lose so you can get fired, man.
I think this is a game that Mississippi State can take. Obviously, Florida's been much better than what the record indicates defensively. They're playing better offensively, but I think this is a game Mississippi State can absolutely win.
Yeah, no doubt. You're exactly right there, Eric. They just got to play clean and even just cut their penalties in half, and they'll have a chance.
And is the pressure on at Florida with Penn State now open, Arkansas's open? Maybe Florida's like, we got to get Napier out of here so we can start vetting some candidates here.
The vetting Franklin's probably already going on.
Yeah. They're vetting them anyway.
Everybody
they've already called
about it, but James Franklin in Florida would be scary as heck.
Oh, it would be. We saw what he did at Vandy when he was there. He'd be terrifying down there with the program that feels like they really, 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 really want to win and has shown that they can win at certain points. Now, I think they're still cursed for firing Dan Mullins after, the success he had there. They're going to probably, if they do hire James Franklin, it probably may get worse just because they're in purgatory for being disrespectful to the football gods. But whomst among us would have believed me if I told you that Mississippi State was coming in this game 4-2 and Florida was 2-4?
Yeah.
Well, neighbors, what was your tweet yesterday?
Oh, I had a lot of them, so you're gonna have to remind me.
about James Franklin and Hog fans.
Oh, well, I mean, just that they're idiots if they don't want James Franklin. I mean, which apparently people in our Razorback land be like, you're an idiot if you think that James Franklin would be better than Sam Pittman. I'm like, you're the reason why the education is so low in Arkansas. It's so bad. But we'll say, don't be including Gordy, Arkansas in the college football coaches searches or anything. We got our coach, buddy.
Okay.
We got our coach.
Well, look, don't get me wrong.
Fans say that.
Petrino wins some games here. That you might be right. Two other games to touch on real quick, guys. Number 21, Texas at Kentucky. We know Kentucky, Mark Stoops' days are kind of numbered here, but I'm looking for, is this a game that does Arch kind of have that big, he had a great game against Oklahoma, I say good, not great, but if he throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns against Kentucky, this could be the coming out party, right? Arch getting some confidence.
If he's going to do that against any team, it would be Kentucky.
This also could be Kentucky Ole Miss 2024.
Yup, exactly. This could be exactly that. This could be the hangover from that win, that emotional rivalry win. They go to Kentucky and Kentucky beats them up, and they end up losing it.
They're not ready for.
It's going to be a rock fight that he may not be prepared for. They're probably overlooking Kentucky because Texas has right after them Mississippi State on the road back-to-back weeks, and then Vanderbilt. They could be trying to overlook them and say, we need to prepare for Vandy.
Games to overlook Kentucky for. Gotta love that.
It's crazy that people are overlooking teams to play Vandy too. Isn't that crazy?
Look, that's amazing.
And I'm here for that.
Also crazy in the SEC that you get Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt in a row, by the way. That's nothing against those teams because they're all pretty good. But when you look at all 16 teams in the league, that's a quite fortunate stretch.
Bama would have liked one of those the last few weeks, Jimmy.
Yeah. And it's not like what Oklahoma's about to face starting. I was about to say starting now, starting a couple of weeks ago, and then for the rest of the way.
Right.
Hey, and Mark Stoops is likely going to eventually lose his job, but Mark Stoops against the Norm Chow tree, Lane Kiffin, and Steve Sarkisian, he's got a foothold on that offense. He can make a rock fight on that offense.
Norm Chow.
Look, for one more week, though, Texas is alive in the playoff hunt. They can do this. They just have to run the table.
No one wants that.
Oh my gosh.
One more, guys. Save the biggest Hindenburg for last. Number 16, Mizzou is going to the Plains of Auburn, where that thing's getting uglier and uglier by the week. Damari Alston leaves the team this week, a team captain. Anybody think Auburn got any chance in this one?
It's like the meme where everything is burning around Hugh Freeze, and he's just like, "Hey, this is fine.
It's fine. The question is, how much golfing is Hugh Freeze going to do before this game to prepare himself for the battle? Because, truth be told, this feels like yet another game where a coach is probably going to get fired if they lose this one. Between Florida and Auburn and possibly Kentucky, those 3 teams, I feel like somebody's going to lose their job if they lose, and we may see 3 people get fired in the same week. That would be wild.
On3 keeps making graphics about earlier in the week about Auburn flipping this recruit and getting this recruit. First of all, it's wild that going on a little bit of a run right there whenever the coach is really on the hot seat. But every time I saw that graphic, I'm like, is he fired? Is he fired?
Maybe that's
Me too. Me too. Every time. I'm like, stop posting Auburn pictures. Stop posting pictures of Hugh Freeze. You keep making me think that he's fired. Do not do it anymore.
How about the fact that when Austin left the team, they put out like violation of team, some sort of verbiage that made it sound like
didn't meet
Austin was
expectations.
some sort of something
Didn't
like
meet
that.
expectations.
And
Standards of the team.
yeah, good luck recruiting if you can throw your players under the bus whenever they're trying to make money, because that's what this is about. He just wants another year to make money because he's not going to play in the NFL. He wants another chance, another bite at the apple. And you're going to throw him under the bus and do that. Good luck recruiting. Seriously, if you somehow beat Missouri, good luck recruiting.
Now, on that, Missouri's only like a 1 to 1.5 point favorite in this game. That feels really low for a team that's been struggling like Auburn has on the offensive side of the ball. Is Vegas really
Jordan Hare is a tough place to play still, and it's a night game.
Yeah, I mean, it's at
No, and
4:45, so it's gonna be dark.
And also, let's be honest about this. Like, first off, like Auburn's going to win this game, and second off, like this is the first game away from the rock place that this Missouri team plays at, like for the season. So, like,
true.
So it's like they're going to get in a different atmosphere. It's going to be on the road, and honestly, the main reason I think that Auburn wins this game, it's not like because I think Auburn's great or anything. I just feel like with Missouri, that Bama game, that was it, man. That was their time. That was their time to finally put themselves in the driver's seat. I think they went all out, and I think they're going to have an emotional letdown afterwards, especially going on the road.
Guys, this is a new weekly segment. Neighbors calls his shot, and he's hit a couple of these. So save this clip. We may have to put a sponsor on this or something. Neighbors.
I'm about to put money on them right now. I'm in Vegas this week for work, so I'm going to go ahead and put a whole bunch of money on
Auburn, apparently.
On Auburn, yeah. I'm gonna send you half the proceeds, John.
Yeah, if my team can't win, at least your teams can. Whenever I pick them.
I will say this: Jackson Arnold is kind of like going towards the Steve Sachs territory, the Chuck Knobloch. He is developing the yips something fierce. He can't even complete a slant pass.
So I don't have his stats in front of me. I saw a tweet, so who knows if it's true or not. But it said something like he's got the lowest passer rating in the SEC, but he hasn't thrown a pick.
Yep, right. That is 100% correct.
And like I know they're not throwing it a lot with him, but that is still
not throwing the ball enough.
Right. It's an incredible
ground is intercepting the ball is what's happening.
Yeah, well, they don't throw it down the field because he can't. And every time they try to throw it down the field, he gets sacked.
They've got a great wide receiver core, but it's just kind of going to waste.
Yeah, future.
He is 16th in the conference in passer rating at 124.29. He is dead last. 0 picks, 5 touchdowns, and he has thrown 165 passes.
I don't think Jay is shocked at any of this.
Corey.
Oh no, I'm not. We tried to tell them that. We tried to for some reason. No, and the bad part is you can tell that Hugh Freeze has basically told him, do not throw an interception at all, period. And so he is clamming up from it. Like on our side, I know that the coaches was like, dude, if you throw a pick, that's fine. The defense will help you. Just throw the freaking ball. It's the opposite there, and he's still just like this. No, it's bad. He hasn't thrown for 1,000 yards yet, and he's played in 6 games.
That's so
bad. Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton outside.
Yeah, that's the old mantra. If you don't throw it into trouble, you can never turn the ball over. So you'll also never score a passing touchdown. There's that part too.
That too.
Jimmy, it's future Lane Kiffin wide receiver Cam Coleman.
If he was tired, there will be a significant portal watch going on there.
Yeah, Ohio State on line 1. They want Jeremiah Smith and Cam Coleman next year. That would be absolute insanity. But, gents, it's been a good week for the squad show. Hopefully, we wish good luck to all your teams this week, and hopefully none of them lose. Eric and Jimmy, sorry, one of them has to lose. Remember to follow and subscribe to Locked On SEC, or your favorite SEC school will be covering your team every day throughout the season. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network covering your team every day. For Jay, Steven, John, Corey, Jimmy, Eric, I'm Chris. We'll talk to you guys next week on the Squad Show.
Peace.
Go Balls. Go Balls.
Anchor down.
Hotty toddy.
Boomer Sooner.
That Texas A&M dog sucks.